Hello everyone, how you all doing? Welcome to another video. My name is Philip, I'm also known as PS Enough. Today we will have a video of pick a topic, any topic, one of the tiers that I have on my Patreon. Someone requested me to do a video about the history behind the United States demo scene. I'm not a United States demo scener, I'm a European demo scener. I only know United States scene from checking results of parties and stuff. That being said, let's get into it. I'm going to list the parties that I know of and talk about some of the entries maybe. They were a bit more fundamental. I'm going to also include the Canadian demo scene because it's quite interlinked. I'm not going to include the Argentinian demo scene, even though there's only Flash Party, so I might as well include it. I'm going to search for it real quick while I do the rest of the video. So yeah, let's get to it. Flash Party. Bam. There it is. Probably not on this position, maybe here. Okay, so first party that happened in the US. The first one that I heard about is Nade. I don't know if there were any before it or not. The first one I heard was Nade. It was in 95. They only had 2 editions in 95 and 96. There was actually a party before Nade, which was called Coma, which happened in 94, and this was in Canada, I think in the region of Quebec, actually. So you can see in 94, but they didn't have that many entries, so it was more like a meeting kind of thing. But on Nade, it was quite a big party for the American demo scene. They had a lot of entries. Some famous names at the time became the Cheese Brigade and Cosmic Free Music Foundation. They were very active in the scene. There were some international groups like Psychic Monks and stuff like that. There were a lot of good entries, and they did that issue again in 96. You can also see shit tons of entries here, especially for the PC demo compo. Here you can see the Cheese Brigade again winning the compo. They became quite famous. Also Hornet, which ended up doing the Hornet archive, also became quite famous. A lot of random groups and stuff like that. I'm trying to see if I find anything interesting. That's pretty much it. Then Nade ended, and I think Spring Break was created around this time, but I think it was on the other coast of the United States. I'm not sure. I would have to check. We can check results real quick. It doesn't say where it was. It just says the results. That's what it is. That's maybe 98 results says where it was. Nope. You will have to ask Phoenix where it was. But I believe it was on the other coast of the United States. But you see, not many entries on Spring Breaks. It was a smaller party, just filling out the void that Nate left on the United States scene. It happened for 3 years though. Nothing else was happening during that time. Then Coma got reactivated in 99. They ended up doing 3 more editions. You can see here they didn't have that many entries, but they kept organizing it. In 2000 they had a few more entries already. Then 2001, maybe you see the project Razor 1991. A lot of foreign submissions as well. Then there was another void that happened at that time. And then this guy called Legalize decided to start organizing pilgrimage. And the people from United States went there because it was the only party that existed in the United States. Pilgrimage ended up with a bad reputation. Legalize himself ended up with a bad reputation in the scene, being a bit not understanding the scene very well. Got a lot of backlash because of that. Meanwhile, there were some good releases on Pilgrimage. Like the invitation from Explosive was pretty darn good. It was like a mashup of different old school demos that really had the demo scene spirit in them. Then Kvak from K-Rad was also pretty good. Don't know if you guys remember it. This was like green and white, all the flash music by Basshead, very good production. Continuing on, there was Flash Party happening in Argentina at the same time. The first party was organized in '98. They had releases throughout the years. A few years they stopped organizing and then they resumed. They're still active nowadays. They had an edition in 2018, so this year. Not many groups from the United States and Canada went to Flash Party. I think probably even none went there. But it's worth mentioning that it's also a party and also happening in the continent of America, let's call it that. Anyways, back in North America, we had the Block Party being organized in from 2007 until 2011. I'm not sure if 2011 actually happened or if it was just an invitation. It was organized as part of Nauticon, I believe, was a special section inside that. Nauticon is a hackerspace or a hacker conference of some sort, and they had a special section reserved for the demo scene, and that's where they organized this thing. It was organized by Radman and I believe Jason Scott of Text Files. And these guys had a lot of relation with the Ashi and Ansi scene, which was pretty big from old times in the United States. In the 90s, there was a very big Ashi and Ansi scene in the US. So they ended up organizing Block Party for a few years. They had very good releases on all of the editions. It was a very nice revival of the United States demo scene. You can see Northern Dragons did a lot of releases. New groups like Trailer Park Demos also started releasing stuff. You can really see a lot of interesting releases. Then we had NVIDIA came into the play, and they visited Europe, and they learned about the whole demo scene phenomenon, and they recruited some demo sceners from Europe to help them organize something in the US. And this ended up being called NV Scene, and as you can see by the amount of hearts and awards, it became very famous. He had a very famous invitation by Farbrosh and Nero. The demos that got placed into the compo also were pretty big. They flew people there to attend the demo party and stuff like that, give talks and stuff. So they ended up with high quality releases. So NV Scene 2008 was a big success, both in the 4K and the PC demo side of things. They ended up organizing it again a few years later in 2014 and 2015. Not as big success as before in 2008, while they still had a lot of money. And so, yeah. But it's worth mentioning because a lot of... it connected the European and United States sceners a bit more than it was happening before. A few other parties also popped up while NV Scene was happening or while it was taking its hiatus. One of them was At Party, which I think is related to MIT, in Harvard. I'm sorry, in Harvard. It's still running, so a lot of effort put into organizing it every year. You can start seeing some of the old school names even attended just for support, like the Dennis Courtney 5. Let's take a look at a few, like Coda also released some stuff there. Coda was relatively new back then, and Luis was also one of the newer generation of United States demo sceners, let's call it that. 2012. Other parties started creeping up in the United States. There is Demo Splash that showed up in 2012 and is actually having another edition in 2018, and we'll see the page in a few seconds after I'm done with all the listing of the parties. And then there was Synchrony. And Synchrony is especially interesting because it connects New York and a city in Canada. So it does both cities at the same time. So it connects the Canadian with the New York area demo scene of the United States. And it had some success. They do some interesting releases there. It's usually around January, February, so early in the year. So stay tuned if you want to go for 2019. It's also connected with MagFest, I believe, which is a big music festival in happening in, and video games also related, happening in New York. So yeah, Synchrony, Demosplash, Party. These are the three parties that are still active in the United States. Demosplash is happening just in a couple of days, so 2 and 3 of November 2018. Right now it's the 30th of October, so you still have a couple of days to go there. And yeah, just wanted to give you an overview of the parties that are happening in the United States. There are not that many, but there are parties in the United States. So if you are from United States and you're interested in the demo scene, make your way there. Get to know the other demo sceners from the United States, and you can do stuff and eventually even attend other parties outside the United States, like in Europe, for example, or Japan, or who knows. So yeah, hope this video is useful. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye bye. Take care.